Greetings. You might remember this Yeti here. We had got it. It was filthy, cleaned it up, been having fun with it. Now, something about this though is it is proving hard to keep clean. Normally that's not a problem because these things are meant to get dirty. But there's something we can do to help keep it a little bit cleaner. Let me show you something. Right here's a big opening, and it allows debris to get kicked up from the front tires and into the chassis here. And it makes the inside just filthy. Now there's a way around that. What we can do is we can make a set of inner fenders that'll fill this hole right here and help keep debris out of the chassis. So what are we going to use to make that? Well, what we're going to do to start with is we're going to make a cardboard template, and then we're going to make the actual inner fender out of plastic card. And what we're going to do here is we'll take and attach it to the inside of this roll cage. Well, we could go fancy with it, make these nice elaborate brackets and such like that, but since I'm going to paint the inner fenders black, I'm going to go ahead and just zip tie them to these mounts right here. There's a non-stress area, they'll hold them perfectly in place, and it'll help keep dirt and debris out of the inside of the chassis. And here I have the supplies I'm going to use to make these inner fenders. I have a piece of cardboard here I'm going to use to make my templates. This right here is just from a fruit snack box that my daughter had. So we're going to use those to make the template. Then we'll transfer this template to this plastic card here. And we'll cut it out and test fit it in. Once we get it fitting good, then we'll worry about mounting it. So first step is we have to make those templates. So what we're going to do is we're going to start by just figuring out how we're going to get this to fit up in here. We'll have to start trimming back just a little bit to make it fit. I'm going to use me a Sharpie here to mark this. So let's start by trimming away this front corner up here. What we're going to try to start with here is we have to get this to fit as flush as possible up to here. That way the less gaps there's less room for dirt and debris to find its way inside the chassis. Oh yeah, we're getting there. We'll notch out for the frame, we'll have to notch out back here for the interior, and I'm just going to make it go back to right about here. That should provide adequate coverage between the body and then the inner fender there. So I'm going to go ahead and get these lines drawn and see what we can get worked up. And here I have my template made. As you can see, it fills this hole up here. It goes behind the roll bar here. I just have it taped in place. And just want to make sure that it filled the gap. And give you a better look at it there. You can see it. And here it is from the inside. I also labeled that this is the inner driver's side. That means this part faces in and goes on the driver's side of the vehicle. And that's all there is to it. I had to make clearance for the shock, and this here comes down and allows for clearance for the steering. Gave it a nice curved shape. That way it'll at least kind of flow. And I like to round out my edges because A, it prevents something sharp from getting caught, and B, I think it looks just a little bit better. So now what I'm going to do is I'm going to take this template off this side, and I'm going to test it on the other side, which it should fit. There we go. So what I will do is I'm going to take this template here and I'm going to transfer it to the plastic card. Then I'm going to flip it over and do it again. That way I have a right and left. And then I'll cut those out, test fit them again, figure out where I want to make my mounting holes for my zip ties to go through. And then test fit again. And if everything looks like it's lining up good, I will then take them and spray paint them and install them and call it good. Well, let's go ahead and get those transferred. I now have them transferred to this plastic card. I labeled which part will face out. If you plan on painting these any color other than black, do not use Sharpie, or if you do use Sharpie, make sure you use alcohol to clean it off before you paint them. Otherwise, the Sharpie will show through the paint. Now we just need to cut these out. Well, we now have them cut out. So what we're going to do now is we are going to test fit them again to make sure they fit good, like we want. And yes, it does. So now I'm going to go and tape it in place, and then I'm going to mark my spots where I want to mount my zip ties at. Okay, got it taped in place. I'm going to make a dot here and a dot here. Then we'll have one zip tie wrap over top the bar there. I'm going to make one dot right here and one here, because I'm going to make it wrap around that bar right there. And now up front here, oops, I'm going to make a mark right here and right here. Now there's something else I need to do. If you notice, this does not fit flush. So what I'm going to do is I want to heat it up a little bit. I'm going to use a cigarette lighter. You could use a heat gun or anything like that. I would use a heat gun on this, but honestly I'm a little too lazy to walk to the garage right now and get mine. So, because it's raining outside and I don't feel like getting wet. But anyway, it don't take much. Just going to force it in the shape we want. We're going to heat it up and get this little bit of a bend to it. It does not take much. That way it'll fit more flush, it'll look better, it'll help keep the debris out, and it won't force back against the zip tie. It won't be pulling against itself. And there we go. Now once she's zip tied in place, she'll fit perfect. I'm going to do the same thing now to the other side, and then I'll drill the holes for the zip tie mounts. Okay, I have both inner fenders drilled out now for the zip ties to mount through. I've cleaned them up a little bit there with some alcohol, take off some of the Sharpie, and now I'm going to spray paint them black. I'm going to do the inside and the outside. My choice of paint for this is, normally I'd use bed liner coating, but this time I'm just going to use this simple paint right here. It's a color paste paint. Just a simple flat black. I'm using this because these will see a lot of abuse. They'll probably get scuffed up, and this makes it nice and easy to touch them back up. So I'm going to go spray paint these real quick. Now they're both painted, we'll just let them dry and then install them into the body. And as you can see, I now have my inner fenders mounted. I zip tie them to the roll cage and cut off the excess zip tie on the inside. That'll hold them nice and solid. Gives them a little bit of flex, but not too much. And this should help deflect the dirt and crap out of the inside of the chassis. Let's see how they fit on the chassis itself. Okay, we have the rear body clips in. We're going to go ahead and lower this into place and see how they fit. And there we go. As you can tell, it seals up that gap quite nicely. It'll help keep dirt and debris from flying back up in there, and it allows for full suspension compression. That's something you need to make sure of whenever you're making your template, that you trim this well enough that it will allow for the suspension to fully compress. You don't want it hitting your inner fender, because it can cause cracking in the paint, can slow down suspension, can cause binding. You don't want any of that. So make sure you trim and allow for the shock and for your upper link here. And as you can tell, whenever the tire's turned, it also clears and doesn't hit the inner fender. And there you have it. A nice cheap way to add protection for the inside of your Yeti, to protect your electronics, and a nice way to add a little bit of better looks to the Yeti. This way you can't just look in through the wheel well and see into the body of the truck. So, couple good advantages there to that, and it is cheap. Like I said, just use a little piece of plastic card for each side and some zip ties, a little bit of spray paint, good to go. I hope you found this little tech tip useful. If you have any questions, please drop them below. You can also follow us on Instagram. We post quite a bit there, so make sure you check that out. And until next time, happy RCing.